Okay guys, so today I'm going to be talking about telling the difference between male and female reptiles, and depending on the species, which one of these might be better for you to keep. So let's get straight into the video. So first off, let's talk about the differences. Some species are sexually dimorphic, which means that one sex will look different to the other. So for example, males might be bigger and more colourful, or females might be bigger and more colourful depending on the species. Most lizards, even though they aren't outwardly sexually dimorphic, do tend to develop a hemipenal bulge when mature at the base of the tail, and they do tend to have femoral paws. I won't talk about these in depth about what they are, but male lizards do tend to get them. And snakes generally are not sexually dimorphic and are quite hard to differentiate by eye, although males do usually have proportionally longer tails. The only way to know 100% with snakes is to have them popped as hatchlings or probed as an adult, which basically just tells you whether they have hemipenes like the lizards, and if so, then they would be a male. When it comes to choosing male or female with snakes, there are a couple of things to remember. So in most species of snake, females do tend to get larger. So if you've got an enclosure or whatever, then it might be worth looking up how big the sex is going to get, because for example, a male hognose snake gets far smaller than a female hognose snake, so for a female you would need a larger cage. It's also worth noting that females can start to lay infertile eggs after a couple of years. This is where they, like a chicken basically, if they haven't been bred with a male, then they'll still lay eggs, they just won't hatch. There is actually some cases where they can hatch, but I'm not going to talk about this. Just basically think of it as females are still going to lay eggs at some point, and this can have a big toll on their body because they have to put all the energy into producing them, and it can just be a bit bad for them over time. So it is definitely something to consider. Infertile egg laying can also be an issue in female lizards, because unlike with ordinary fertile eggs, there seems to be more issues with what's called dystocia, which is where the egg gets sort of stuck basically as it's coming out, which obviously can be fatal if the egg ruptures. So it is something that you're going to have to think about if you're going to get a female reptile. Overall with lizards, unless you're keeping them for breeding, I would generally say that males are probably better to keep, because they usually get bigger and they're usually more colourful where sexual dimorphism is expressed. So for example, chameleons, male chameleons are the ones that you see that are brightly coloured. Females are generally drab colours like a grey or just a plain green. And females also generally don't live very long with chameleons. So if you're getting it for a pet, then a male is definitely the way to go. And that is pretty much the same with most sexually dimorphic lizards. The males are going to be bigger and more colourful, but not bigger to a point where you're going to need a bigger cage. So if they're just being kept as a pet, then males do tend to be the better option. Females are also a lot more affected by the seasons in some species, such as leopard geckos. When the seasons are passing, they sort of are able to tell, and then they'll go into sort of a winter brumation, which for a first time owner can be quite stressful. Now that isn't at all to say that female lizards are bad pets, because I've kept them in the past and there's nothing behaviourally different to them. It's just that with some species that are sexually dimorphic, it might be more sort of impressive to look at them when they're males, although in the cases when they just look the same pretty much, then it's just your choice really. They both make us good pets, just males do tend to look a little bit more exciting. So I hope that this video has helped you a bit if you're looking whether to get a male or female reptile. I know it's a question that a lot of people actually ask, but there are sort of very few places that give definitive answers to it, so I thought I'd make this video that would sort of help you out. So if you did enjoy it, please leave this video a like, and if you want to see any more like it, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.